Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Robert Langdon. Welcome to Emerge Gallery. We are here to take a look at the brand new show that opened last weekend called Piccolo. And it's a show of smaller size work. Just turn the volume down. Turn the volume down on that, please. Yes, thank you. So we're going to take a look at each of the pieces in the show. It's all work that's 11 by 14 and under. All different styles, all different mediums. The artists are from mostly from the Hudson Valley, New York metropolitan area, and there's a few from out of state, Illinois. There's some from New Jersey, one from Arizona. So what we're going to do is go through each piece. I'm being joined here by a handful of the artists who will be talking about their work. Normally when I do these shows, I talk a little bit about each of the piece on behalf of the artists who can't join us. There's almost 200 pieces in the show. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to spend a lot of time, as much time as I normally would on each piece for the artists that can't join us, because I really want to give the time to the artists who are here to speak about their work. So I'm going to go through each piece. I have a couple special guests here at the gallery who's going to talk about their work. So how we will start this is I'm going to give you a little visual of the show. So got my laptop. So this it was a difficult show to hang, but I'm really pleased with how it all came together. And here's Arabella. And we have a really gorgeous window installation by Faye Wood, who's going to talk in a few minutes about her work. So I'll go real quick, do a quick little scan through each piece. And each of the pieces are going to be presented individually. Now, this is a much larger piece. This isn't part of the smaller show, but I thought it fit in well with the show and filled up a big blank wall. That is by an artist called Esme, who had that piece in a show back in November, which is called Tell Me a Story. Okay, so actually, I don't know why I'm sitting down. Faye, come join me. We're going to go over to the window, and I'm going to turn it over to Faye Wood. Let me give you a little look at each of the pieces here. Faye, if you want to, let's introduce you. This is Faye Wood. How are you? Faye is a really wonderful artist here in Socrates, and I'm so pleased to have the work here in the gallery. I'm delighted. It looks beautiful. Faye, I was in Faye's studio a number of months ago when she started doing the pieces, and I'm so thrilled that she can have them in the gallery here. They make a really wonderful window installation, and I'm so pleased to have them. So Faye, I mean, if you don't mind telling us while I'm just doing a visual about what they're made of. And they're made how you created them.
Solid metal and found objects. They are galvanized wire armatures with plastic coated copper wire surface. And they're all handmade, and they take about 6 weeks each to do. It's very labor intensive.
It looks, yeah.
But it was done during the pandemic, and I needed the therapy, frankly.
Okay, all right.
And they turned out to be joyful pieces. I love them dearly, and everybody else seems to too.
Yeah, they may have come out of a darker place, but they certainly bring a lot of joy. Now, these are the galvanized wire. The colored wire is crocheted together. Is that right?
Yeah, the surface is crocheted, braided, and then sort of into the piece of galvanized armature.
Okay, and then there's some found pieces here. Pieces here too. So now tell me the inspiration behind this. I love this story.
I was pretty depressed because my husband had died just before the pandemic, and then we had lockdown, and I was talking to friends who are artists and they couldn't work. So I figured I was being perfectly normal and I couldn't work. But I was having a lot of trouble and I was doing a lot of busy work and getting very frustrated. And I could not do anything that was of value. So I didn't know what to do next, but somebody sent me a video. And I looked at it. I don't often look at videos. And
You ready now?
my favorite piece of music I loved as a child. It was the Song of Silence, the sound of silence. And I turned it on and looked at it. And it just was like a slap in the face. Is about all I can say. It just woke me up. This group of people who sang it, it was just beautiful. The video was beautiful. It was black and white, very noir, very, very moving. And then the lead singer's face would come on the screen, and his head is so sculptural. I couldn't stop, you know. And this is a heavy metal band, which is not music that I normally like. And I was fascinating. He was gorgeous. He had all the piercings, and it was just. And I was stunned. I was stunned. I realized that I hadn't been seeing for months. I hadn't been doing anything, seeing things the way I used to. And it was an eye-opener. So I looked up another song of theirs. And the song of theirs that I chose was an interesting one called "What Are You Waiting For?" And it was so angry and so moving and so emotional that I just got up out of my chair and went up to my studio and started to put together the materials that I would use for these pieces.
Yeah. And you had collected this, the wire for like about 20 years or so, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I collect a lot of things and keep them a long time.
Yeah.
And the wire was perfect for this, just perfect. And I had made.
Sorry, hold on. Sorry, someone's listening on. Here we go.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. We were getting some feedback.
Now I had done galvanized armatures before.
Yeah.
Larger pieces. So I figured it would work well with these, and it did. It worked beautifully.
Yeah, it worked really wonderful. All of the pieces are online. If you wanted to spend a little time with them, you can have a closer look at each. And I'm hoping to bring some more of Faye's work in real soon. So you'll be definitely seeing more.
There's a post-pandemic group coming up now. I'm starting to work on them.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Faye.
You're welcome.
All right. Hi, Theresa.
Bye.
Are you here to speak about your work? You here to speak about your work?
Oh, I didn't know you were even.
Yes.
Oh my God, no.
Okay. All right. So
Be brave.
thank you so much, Faye. Now we're gonna get into the show. Hold on.
A long time. I see you on Facebook. And we steal each other's posts.
I know.
Okay, let me share the screen that I'm looking at so you can see it as well. So all of the work is available to view online at Artsy. It's artsy.net. There you can find work from this show, previous shows, and some online exclusives like the Sawkill, a Catskill Journey Exploring a River Through Art by Linda Lincoln. When you click on this, it will take you to, hold on, let me bring us back to here. So it will take you to the show where you could look at virtually click on each image. And that will give you some information about the pieces. Again, I just wanted to mention that I am not going to be going into depth about each of the pieces. I'm going to let the artists do that. For the artists that can't join us, I recommend that you have a look at the artsy site, because a lot of these pieces do have some really wonderful stories behind them. And they will give some information about process as well. So let's start the show. It's on exhibit through November 13th here at the gallery. There's an additional probably about 50 works or so online on Artsy. The additional works to what's in the show here at the gallery. Okay, so the first one that we have is a piece by Gary Abrams, and Gary is here. I'm going to bring him up. We're up. Here you are, Gary. You want to unmute for me? And then let's talk about these pieces here. Gary, can you hear me? Okay, I'm going to move on to Robin Adler then, and then Gary, if you know, if you do get the voice back, let's bring you back. Robin, I see Robin there. Let's bring
Hi,
you.
Robert.
There you are, Robin. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you so much for having my work in the show again. I really appreciate it.
This is called Iona.
Yes, this is Iona. So this piece, I find that when I am traveling, I am open in a way. You know, you get out of your routine and you start to notice things. I happen to be fortunate enough to be able to go to Scotland this year, and I was on the island of Iona waiting for a ferry.
I've got my phone.
Sorry about that. Waiting for a ferry to.
I guess, yeah.
Waiting for a ferry to come back to the mainland, and I noticed on a wall there happened to be something growing. You know, it was something probably from the sea that was causing the most beautiful colors to appear on this wall, just this wall facing the sea.
Okay.
And so, you know, it was something that I was attracted to in the environment. I was more open to it. I was traveling. I didn't have my, you know, routine day to day. You're sort of head down, getting to where you need to go. But when you're traveling, you're open in a way. And so I decided to use the colors that I had seen in the environment that really struck me. And I just started from a color palette, and I paint intuitively. I don't know what it will end up looking like. I don't start usually with an idea other than a color palette. And this is what came from Iona, from the trip to Iona, and this is the outcome of Iona. I also have another piece in the show. It's called Holding Time. And
bring it up.
yeah, no worries. So that piece, it resonated with me, Faye, what you were saying about the pandemic. This piece is, like I said, I do paint from intuition, from a feeling state. And I was painting this in January, and I was reflecting of 2 years gone by in the pandemic. And, you know, I really feel like pandemic time, and oftentimes, you know, time outside pandemic feels elusive and slippery and multidimensional, and sometimes it feels agonizingly slow, and other times it goes by in a second. So I think I was really trying to capture the dimensions of time here. So thank you very much for having me today, Robert. I really appreciate being able to talk about my work and my process.
Absolutely, Robin. I just wanted to mention too, in this one as well, but in the first piece, I mean, those greens are so luscious. They're just beautiful.
Thank you very much.
You got it. All right. Thank you, Robin. Good to have your work.
You're very welcome.
Hello?
All right, Gary,
Yes,
you are up, my friend.
thank you, sir.
Here we go. So we have Friends. This is Friends. So tell us about Friends and about your process. These are small. These are like 4 by 5, I think. These are little.
Not so much process as something that I will see that really interests me. I'm very fond of park scenes and people getting together as friends and just enjoying a moment together.
Hmm. The second one as well, on the bicycles.
Yeah, it's similarly, I'm a big fan of people on bicycles also. The kind of work I do is really just scenes of everyday life that really strike me as quite beautiful, and I do my best to just capture them in paint.
And this is acrylic, is that right? No, these are
It's an acrylic gouache.
It's an acrylic gouache, I'm sorry. But it has the real, like the feel and texture almost of oil, the way that you apply it.
Yeah, that's intentional, but
Yeah.
I realized that, well, it wasn't intentional originally, it was accidental, but then I realized I was getting that effect and I stayed with it.
All right, great. Wonderful. All right, I'm glad to have you here, Gary. I'm glad it worked out.
I'm glad also, and thank you so much. The show is terrific and I feel proud to be part of it.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I really do. Thank you. All right, we'll see you soon, Gary.
Okay, I'll talk to you.
All right. All right. So that's Gary Abrams. Next, we have Antonio Aguilar. Antonio owns a business down the street from the gallery, a really wonderful gym, personal trainer. So I'm thrilled to have this piece. It was one of the first pieces that he made. It's a digital piece called Trust. Next, we have works by Wayne Alfano. Wayne is an artist in New Jersey who has exhibited at the gallery before, and I've sold a couple of his pieces before. And he's just so taken by Socrates that he did his version of Partition Street. So this is Partition Street by Wayne Alfano. Next, we have Evangelia, who I have right here. Evangelia, welcome. It's really great to have you. Evangelia is joining us from Illinois.
Yes, thank you very much, Robert, for having me here. It's a great honor. So yes, my work loss is influenced by the tonalism contemporary mode. As you can see in my piece, all elements are united by a monochrome natural palette, which is actually burnt sienna, and very intense charcoal strikes, which are laying on the top of that acrylic background. As you can see, I painted 3 trees in front of a lake. The one in the center is naked, and the other 2 on the sides are full with foliage, with their figures being reflected in the water. Now, someone could just stop here and just appreciate the painting as a whole with all these little details, but there is more information actually to observe in it. And the title is the key to figure out what's going on. So for me, the trees actually have a soul. In all of my paintings, every tree has a soul. And apart from their apparent form, of course, they metaphorically depict people of different physical and mental states. In that particular case, the naked tree represents all those people who unfortunately have given up and whose spirits have faded away. Basically, this naked tree has lost its purpose in life and has neglected itself. And that is why actually it's the only one who does not reflect itself in the water. However, it still manages to hold on there, thanks to the other 2 trees who stand by its side no matter what. And I think that everyone can relate with this piece, because throughout our life, we can be either a naked tree, feel like I give up, or we can be the other trees who are, full of energy and motivation to encourage family, friends, or lovers who have given up in life.
I love your explanation of that, because that's and what I was thinking too when I was looking at it. Is just there's so much beauty around so much devastation and loss too, and a lot of times that beauty really holds.
And like the other people over there, I was also influenced by the COVID situation.
Yeah.
So
This is really, really beautiful. Is this typical of the kind of work that you do?
Yes, all of my works are like monochrome with very natural colors, usually burnt sienna, and charcoal strikes. They're all basically tonalism contemporary, and they're all landscapes. But everything, if you read the title, has a hidden message.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's more depressing, other times it's more happy.
Yeah. And I like that this has both.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Angela. Eventually, it was really wonderful to meet you, and I hope to see you again.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Yeah, isn't it beautiful? Yeah. Okay, next we have a piece by Debbie Auer Breithaupt. Debbie is an artist in Socrates. This is called Dreaming Tulips. This is acrylic and it's 8 by 10. We have two pieces by Laura Avella. Laura lives in Catskills. She's a watercolor artist. This one is called Chickens. And then the second piece here is called Trees. These are, this one is a white line print. The Chickens was a watercolor. Okay, Lisa Bagwell. I know Lisa Bagwell from when I ran a gallery in Red Bank. And Lisa, she's a wonderful artist who makes art out of material that's been washed up on the shores. And she makes these really, really wonderful creatures. I'm hoping that she, you know, you'll see a lot more from her in the windows coming soon. Agnes Barber. I see you right there. I'm going to bring you up, and I don't know if you see what it says there, but congratulations. This little bird.
So excited.
This little bird is on its way to Belgium tomorrow.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I was so excited when I saw it online. I'm like, oh my goodness, goodness. But how are you? Okay.
Oh, I'm doing well.
Good. And Faye, I just want to say I'm sorry about your husband. And I think we all are grateful for art, whatever form we do, because I know it got me through the COVID situation. I was so grateful. This little birdie is going to go to Belgium. Isn't typically me, as you know. I usually do landscape and I do pet portraits and I said, why not just kind of let loose a little and have some fun with it? So I did it as a composite. I had to go, you know, and look up old bathtubs and use them, you know, for reference, and the owl and the floor. I loved, because when I was a little girl, my mother had friends, and that's the kind of floor people had way back then in the 50s. And she had red and white tiles, and I kind of liked the black and white. So I decided I put that in and put the owl in there, and it sold. I was surprised, but it was fun to do because I wasn't crunching my teeth and trying to do detail, because I'm very bad at detail. I knock myself out with it. So this was kind of a lot more fun. It is acrylic. I'm an acrylic artist because I just like it dries quickly. I can work with it more often and stuff like that. So I'm very happy. Very happy. Thank you.
I'm pleased to have it here. There's other works of Agnes's online as well if you want to have a look. Agnes, maybe if they do owls next year in town, you think maybe you can turn this into a sculpture.
I've thought of that before, and I have to let go of being such a detailist because I always feel like don't have enough time. You know, if I do the owl, I just got to get in there, and I'm just going to have to, you know, loosen up a little with that, because like my daughter loves owls. Everybody loves owls. So I was thinking, so maybe next year.
All right.
Maybe next year. So thank you very much.
Well, congratulations again.
Thank you. Thank you. That's exciting. Thank you.
Okay, the next artist we have is Bruce Barnard. This is called Quantum Chaos. Bruce lives in Brewster, and this is acrylic on canvas. It's a 10 by 10 square. Next, I have two pieces by Socrates' own Lowell Barr. Lowell Barr has been doing these really wonderful little small pieces lately. These are two skyscapes, landscapes. This is called Massachusetts Highway. It's oil 6 by 6. And then the second is called Hudson Island. This is oil as well. And that's 6 by 6. Next, we have a beautiful bronze sculpture by Harriet Foreman Barrett. Harriet is, this is called Emergence, and Harriet is an artist in New Paltz. And I have to get a better picture of this. This does not do it justice. Next, I have two pieces by Christina Brady. Christina lives in Kingston. This is the first one called Give Cover. It's gold leaf and oil paint on wood, and it's a small piece. Well, they're all small pieces. This one is 8 by 8. And then her second piece, Tide, this is gold leaf and oil paint on wood as well. This is only 4 by 4. This is a much smaller piece. Next, we have Little Dope Debbie. This is by Naomi Berkery. Naomi is an artist in Jersey City. Little Dope Dope Little Debbie is a mixed media. It's a discarded cookie tin lid with scratches and some scratch and sniff stickers. And then Naomi has a second piece as well. This one is called Sunshine. It is mixed media on paper. You really can't see the details that well on this image, but the paper is crumpled. It looks so much better in person. That's the drawback of doing this online. All right, let's see. Now, is Vian here?
Yes, I'm here.
You are? Oh, wonderful. There you are. Welcome, welcome. So good to see you. This is Vian Borchert. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. So Vian has two pieces in the show. This first piece is called Twilight Poems. So please tell us all about it.
So I guess you can hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, good. Very good. Okay, go. Congratulations on this beautiful show. Wonderful pieces. And a lot of variety too. So it's really very, very amusing to see. So this piece is titled Twilight Poems. And it's acrylic on canvas. I'm a painter, so I always try to bring out my character, also my personality. And I love very much the painterly touch. So the texture, the pigment, but also kind of the play with the different, the brush strokes as well. I love palm trees. And with this painting, I try to kind of embody and emphasize more or less on my love for palm trees. It's one of I love trees in general, but palm trees are one of my favorite trees. And I always think like when I see the twilight or even sunset or sunrise with the palm trees, with the silhouette of the palm trees, it's almost like being in a movie at the end of the movie or the beginning of the movie. It's very picturesque, but also very cinematic. So, and I do love cinema. So I think a little bit of that also shows in my artwork as well. And
exactly, this piece really, I mean, it reminds me of the film industry, Hollywood.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, that's one of the first things I thought when I saw this. So it's funny that you mentioned that.
So I besides studying fine arts, I've also was on the road study cinematography as well. That kind of got derailed, but yes, I've been very much interested in cinema and production and cinematography from a very young age. So yeah, in a way, kind of like my artwork is a little bit sometimes an homage to certain things, like things that capture kind of my imagination, but also I think I have some kind of photographic memory. Like I see something, it gets stuck. I don't know if it's the artist in me, but I do think I have that. And it kind of comes through subconsciously through the painting. Very bizarre, but that happens. And I'm like, oh, well, I've seen this before, or I've experienced this before. I'm sure some people also feel maybe they feel like that's something that they relate to. But yeah, that happens quite a lot with my work, and I try to let my subconscious and my imagination to come through. But everything is kind of based on things I've seen, things that I've maybe even in a dream, but sometimes also a lot of things also in reality as well. So the twilights, again, love for the palm trees because they're so resilient. I mean, now we see with the storm, obviously with Hurricane Ian, how they go with the wind left and right, but they stand strong and they're resilient. So that's something also to be said about the palm trees as well. But yeah, kind of just capturing the atmosphere of the sunset or the sunrise, the twilight light throughout, and the silhouette of the trees.
And it's got some really beautiful movement in it.
Thank you.
This one as well. The second piece has some, beautiful.
So this is called Peach Haze. And it's funny that you mentioned movement, because this is something as an artist I aim to do. And I was actually just talking to an art fan, an art collector, who was mentioning the same thing, that the painting has movement. And I say, it's something that actually I like to do because I do like to kind of express, there was, let's say, a wind breeze within, let's say, the mistiness of the wave here, or something that happened. So there's a movement that happened to kind of capture that as well. It's not really visible, but I'm trying to kind of capture it within the work. Same thing with this painting. This one is based on the ocean. I'm a lover of water. You probably noticed by now, I love the color blue, but I also love skyscapes, so seascapes. I just think that the color blue with its variations is very calming, very soothing. But here, Beach Haze is basically trying to capture a little bit more of a mistiness, a fogginess to the different aspects of the mood of the waves and the sea. And I just love the sea or the ocean in all its different stages. And sometimes it's like a sunny day, the colors might be more crisp. Here it's not super sunny, maybe more of an overcast day. So it's more like a peachy kind of I would say phthalo blue, along with some blue gray, a bit of maybe some green as well, but all kind of falling more within the mistiness of the atmosphere. So trying to capture the atmosphere of that kind of time. Both paintings basically are atmospheric of the environment as well.
Yeah, and I really like just the little touch of the peach in here. It works really, really well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Great to see you again.
You too.
And there's some more of Vian's work as well on Artsy from some previous shows. So please have a look on there. And we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
See you soon. Thank you. All right. Next, we have a piece by Christina Brady. Christina is an artist here in Socrates. This piece is called "This Is the Way." It's an Encostiflex paper, decofoil, and oil stick. Next, we have Jackie Brown. Is Jackie here? I was hoping Jackie would come. I don't think he is. I gotta say, I just want to give a little story about this. Jackie is an 8-year-old boy living in Kingston, New York. And when I receive, let me just say, when I do receive submissions, my first pass through is purely on the image itself. I don't read any of the stories behind them. And this was selected because of that. It's a photograph that I like. It's a photograph that I probably, I could see myself taking. So I was really, really shocked to see that Jackie was 8 years old when he took this. He's 9 years old now. He came to the opening. I was so thrilled to see how excited he was. His art teacher came, and I got to say that just made my year. To be able to, just give someone an opportunity, not just children, but especially children, but to give someone an opportunity to really show their work and just, take some pride in their creativity, especially a 9-year-old boy. I mean, just really warmed my heart. So Jackie, if you're watching, please send me some more of your pictures. I'd love to see them. All right, so that's Jackie Brown. We have 2 pieces now by Laurie Booman. This is a 4-piece found object. This is called it's the Found series. The second piece by Laurie is called 7. A really beautiful crucifix. You can't really see, or you can see on the right-hand side, the dimensions. They're 1, 2, 3, 6 little panels that her photography is placed on. Next, we have 2 pieces by Susan Burlew. This is called Small Wall Shard. It's a ceramic piece. And then the second piece is this is a gold box. This is called Small Box with Gold. This is ceramic as well. And Susan sort of folds out the pieces and puts them together. That made no sense. So, Celine Cardwell, I was really, really pleased to meet Celine. Celine, I believe, is new to town. This is called Provence. It is a collage that was made in 2022 or 2021 after taking her son to on traveling. Second piece by Celine is called Rush. This is 12 by 9 also. Really whimsy. She's got a lot of real whimsy in her work. Larry Caveney, I know I've been following Larry on Instagram. The photograph's a little blurry. I'm gonna have to replace this, but it's he's got, talk about humor. He's got a lot of really fun work. Larry is an artist over in Arizona. Sydney, are you here?
Yeah, hi. Hi, how are you?
So you come in. Let me find you.
Can you
here
hear
you are.
me?
Good
Hi.
to see you.
Good to
How's
see
it
you as
been?
well.
I
Good,
feel like I
good.
just saw you. I did just see you.
Yeah. I
Well-
was lucky enough to come to the opening and everything is so beautiful. So congratulations and thank you for having me.
And
Yeah.
welcome to the virtual show. So tell us about this piece. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So I'm actually based in Providence, Rhode Island. I'm working towards my BFA at Rhode Island School of Design. So I work mostly in photography, and I love working in photography. I work mostly in silver gelatin and darkroom work and alternative processes, just because I love being able to interact with my work in that way. I think photography is perceived as a medium that's really digital and can feel very separate. And so I love the ability to interact with my work as it feels very special to me when I'm creating it. So this piece, it's called Untitled Coast #1, is from a larger series I worked on in November called Memories Keeper. And the series that I made it in Montauk on Long Island. My great aunt lived there while I was growing up. And it's a small, beautiful fishing community right on the coast. And it's just this very quaint, small town. And my great aunt was she was a really passionate environmentalist. She loved to live a very simple life and just be at one with nature and really be engaged with her community. And then, so after she passed away, I was in middle school. I must have been like 12 or 13 years old. She had this beautiful piece of property with a very simple home on it. We kept it for a few years, and then eventually my family ended up selling the home to a developer who decided to tear the home down and build a very large home on it. And I hadn't seen it since I hadn't been back to Montauk since right when we were selling the home. And I went back in November, so it's probably been at least 8 years since I had been there. And I went and I was just overwhelmed with emotion, just seeing the way that the town has changed. And I went around to all the different spots that my family used to visit. This was the beach that's near where her home was that my family and I would go to. And it was a difficult experience to be there and see what it's like now, and kind of the way that the town has become, and the property that's on my great aunt's former home has become like this antithesis of everything that she wanted and she stood for. So it was really difficult for me to see that. And so when I was creating this series, it became a story about the way that a place holds memory and the way that people hold memories and the way that those memories interact with each other, and the difficult emotion that comes with containing those memories and revisiting places that hold those memories as well. So.
Where else can we see some more from the series, Sydney?
Sure. So it's all on my website, which is sydneycohnphotography.com. And then I also have an Instagram, which is at Sydney Cohn Photography. And then I have a more formal artist statement on there if you'd like to read like a more concise and put together story of the work. So yeah.
I thought you told the story pretty well.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I was definitely a little nervous trying to gather my thoughts of how to best convey what the work is meaning to me. So yeah, thank you.
It puts me right there.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of times on the beach, coming from Jersey.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's really beautiful. It put me right there.
Yeah, thank you.
So thank you. I'm really pleased that you had submitted some work, and it's really great to have you here. So thank you, Sydney.
Yeah, it's definitely an honor to be included. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Next, we have some work by Marie Cole. Okay. Two pieces actually by Marie Cole. Marie's a wonderful artist. She does mostly all works on paper, lives over in Woodstock. This one is called Early Morning Mist 3, it's a monoprint. It's a small guy, it's 3x4. The second one is also a small monoprint. This one is 3x4 as well. And this one is called Catskills at Night. Next, we have two pieces by Ellen Crimmins. This piece is called Choke. It's watercolor with a wax over it. This piece sold at the opening. It's going home to a nice young couple from New York City. And then Ellen's second piece is called Garlic. This is watercolor and waxed also. And just so happens to be the Garlic Festival here in Socrates. So this is very timely today. Oh, next we have a special guest who didn't even know about you have to check your emails. I mean, I should talk. So I'm coming to you. Yeah.
Okay.
So we got Theresa Landy Daniel joining us today.
Hi.
Really pleased to have Theresa. Teresa's a multi-talented poet, artist. So Theresa has two works in the show. We've got this piece, which is
Black Veil.
Black Veil, and then the second piece here, which is the poppies on the trill, right?
Rill is a
Okay.
little brook, a really, really tiny one.
Okay. So how do you want to go about this? You want to talk about the piece? You want to talk about your work?
I'm
It's
totally
handmade
taken by
paper.
surprise. Yeah, this handmade paper that I just whiz up in a blender. I learned how to do this in a couple of workshops led by Amanda Light, young artist from Newburgh originally. And she just came and visited my Newburgh Open Studios opening. That's why I wasn't here to see my own artwork on the walls at Emerge. And it was wonderful to see her. Several coincidences just happening. Like today, I had no idea that this was happening until I walked in.
I'm glad you did.
Thank you. I love found objects. I love playing with materials. These two are a little atypical for me because I usually put broken glass and stones and rusty metal bits in my work. For some reason, I was really, really fascinated by the effect of tissue paper in wet paper. And then if you just do a little Mod Podge over them, you get these brilliant, brilliant colors that look as good, if not better, than the original tissue paper. I had gotten pieces of lace from a friend who had, I don't remember how she got a hold of them, but they were from an old lace warehouse. And she took me out in Beacon to the trunk of her car with a scissor, you know, and it's like contraband out of the trunk of the car. I just took a little snip of this and a little snip of that. I could have had spools and spools and spools of this stuff. But that's the one thing that ended up finding its way into here that wasn't just paper. Oh, and I was burning matches, long matches, like for a fireplace. I had been to some participation art event where that's exactly what we were asked to do. And, you know, whoever kept the match lit the longest before the stick burned all the way down to their fingers, you know, like it was a winner or something, I don't know. And I had a lot of fun doing that. So I started burning some matchsticks, and that's what the stems on all the poppies are.
Nice.
The topographic map scraps.
Yeah, I was wondering about all that.
I'm an earth science teacher, and this was from an earth science lab where the kids had to read the elevations and they had to draw in where the water was and point the contour lines heading up valley. And I cut these up and I thought they were just fantastic. This Black Veil one is really, really free form. The other one, the Poppies on the Rill, that is named for the fact that there are all these little thin streams in the maps across the bottom and up
nice.
in the left-hand corner. So
What kind of teacher are you?
I'm an earth science and chemistry teacher.
You lost me at chemistry.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was an English teacher way back
All right,
when.
okay.
So yeah, Robert was nice to me, talking about my multifaceted
Well, she is. I mean,
personality.
she's a wonderful poet as well.
No, I have 3 poems. I wrote 3 poems for Robert for his art and word shows. He's
And
giving
they
me
were
more credit than
wonderful,
I deserve. Thank you.
You got it.
Thank
Well,
you.
good to see you. Nice surprise. All right. Thanks, Theresa. Okay. Next, we have Shelly Davis. This is abandoned truck number 1. There is an abandoned truck number 2. I'm sorry, I just haven't put it up yet. But I will show it to you in person. There you go. So that's the other abandoned truck. Yeah, that one I've got here. Oh, we also have another special guest today. We've got Nancy deFlon, who just came in. So welcome, Nancy. You wanna go by your piece, or?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's right over here.
I
you know-
remember when I named it.
You named this guy. This is Emerging into Light.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That
All
was
right.
fine.
You have 2 pieces. You have Emerging into
Yes.
Light, and then the second piece is the saga set. Is that what it's called? It's a beach.
Sexuous.
Sensuous. Okay. All right. So let's start with this one first.
Emerging into Light. Well, that's exactly how I took the picture. This is Diana Bath's, a waterfall place in New Hampshire. And I get up early in the morning and go and take this walk, and it's very dark. You have to get there before everybody else does. They ruin your pictures. And you come out into light. And with my back turned to that, I can see the waterfall. But I turned around, as any good photographer would say, what's on the other side? And if you're there, if you're lucky and the light is right, you get a view like that. And I've taken images of that several times, and always, of course, with different compositions. I like this because it's fairly close up, and you get that interplay, as it were, of the dark, of the rocks, the shadow of the rocks, with the light. And of course, this is always, I go there during foliage season. And then the way I didn't want to make it look like really painterly, because
Right.
I wanted to bring out the details in it, but I wanted to give it a bit of a sparkle of painterly. So I used a very light filter on it, just I think a texture filter.
I think I think it brought out nicely what you want to bring out.
Thank you.
And then what about the second piece?
Yeah, this is a bit of a departure in the sense of the color. This is a place I have photographed maybe 5,000 times or more. It's one of my favorite places.
Where
on
is it?
Earth. It's in Rhode Island, Middletown. Rhode
Oh,
Island,
yes,
on the-
okay.
on Quidneck Island, just east of Newport. And it's called Sanchez Beach, or Second Beach, it's known as. And I just, the composition is one that I kind of used before. Of course, your composition in a place like that will depend a lot on what the tides are like, as
Sure.
well as what the color is like. But I processed it differently. I processed it in a painterly way. And so you don't, it was, I can't remember exactly what the filter was, but the color is not, it's not natural. I mean, it's not unnatural, but you'll never see it actually looking like that in real life. But I still thought the colors were nice, and I liked what it did to the sky.
Yeah. I think when I first saw this come in, I thought it was a painting, and then I looked, and I'm like, wow, Nancy's painting. But yeah,
Surprised.
I was surprised. Wonderful. Well, Nancy's a wonderful photographer. She has a number of other pieces that are up on from other shows too on Artsy. So I'm nice surprise. I'm glad you came in. Thank you, Nancy. Okay. I need to reduce this computer a little bit. Okay. All right. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Theresa. Next, we have a piece by Kimber Devaney. Kimber is an artist that lives over in Brooklyn. This is Untitled 2, and it's an analog photograph. Dawn DeChico. Are you here, Dawn? No, okay. This is Dawn is a really wonderful artist in Red Bank, New Jersey. I know Dawn from my days managing Gallery U over in Red Bank. This is called Pinky Swear. It's mixed media, it's 12 by 12. And then the second one is called Everything Begins with Blue. This is 12 by 12 also. This is mixed media too. Lois Dodonna is a new artist for the gallery. Lois lives in Hyde Park, New York. This is a soft pastel. It's a small piece, 6 by 6, and it's called From My Imagination. I have two pieces from Mary Elwin. Mary's been in previous shows. This one, from people in the area, I'm sure it looks very familiar. It's Overlook Mountain from the Xena Cornfield in Woodstock. And then her second piece is the Esopus Creek, which is sort of like the heart of at least this part of the Hudson Valley. And these are both oil, 5 by 7. And then I'm really, really pleased to have Jada Fabrizio here. Jada is a wonderful, wonderful artist, photographer, writer, and dear friend. So I did a studio visit to Jada's a couple weeks ago, and I just fell in love with, like, on Instagram, I fell in love with what she's been doing lately. So these are two pieces from what Jada's been doing. I know Jada as a photographer, so I'm really, really pleased to see this oil, and it's just as I had hoped. So this is Crow 3, which sold. Congratulations. And then the second piece is the where are we here? The Great Blue Tarocco. Is that right, Jada?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So welcome. Congratulations and welcome. Tell us all about these guys and what you've been doing.
Well, first I want to thank you for just being such a good friend and supporter of my art and my work, and anybody who knows you and works with you knows your commitment to them as an artist is unsurpassed. I just wanted to say thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So I think as an artist, everything that I do is personal, and oil painting is really a new format for me. And after the pandemic, I had a flurry of activity. Then the pandemic came, everything shut down, all my shows were canceled, and it was pretty rough, but I was lucky enough to get a residency in Jersey City at ESCAF, and that sort of carried me through to 2021. But it was such a quiet time, and there was really nothing going on where you could go out and see people. And I just became very focused on family. Unfortunately, my family was going through a big change as well. And the thing about birds in general is that they're very, especially crows, is that they're extremely familiar, and they stick together and they stick by each other, and they're just a wonderful species to learn about. I threw myself into learning about all sorts of species. On the aside, as a photographer, I did an editorial series on animal rights, and generally been a real advocate for animal rights my whole life. So I began learning about animals and painting animals, and learning how to paint, and wanting to figure out how I wanted to paint. And I think I didn't really want to be a realist. Realism doesn't interest me all that much. And as a photographer, realism was just, it's inherent in the art form. So I began to do these paintings as a bridge between realism and expressionism, and really interested in making a mark and what the paint can do with marks, and how you can make an expressive moment. I mean, with just the brush strokes and the energy that you put into the work. And I'm also very interested in pop. I've always been very interested in pop art. My photography was pop surrealism photography, and very interested in color and foreground space, bases, and putting the subject in the space and how I put the subject in the space. So it was really interesting to me to learn. It's like, I feel like when I'm starting to paint, I'm like jumping off a cliff. So how is this going to work? How am I going to do this? Because it's also new to me and so exciting that I'm just really loving it. I can't stop doing it. I'm starting to try to get back into doing the photography that I do is building dioramas and sculptures and then photographing them and creating these surreal scenes. So I'm getting a little bit back into that, but I don't think I'll ever stop painting. I just love it. And I don't think I'll ever stop painting animals, because to me, it's really fascinating to learn about the animals that I'm painting. I do research on who they are and what they're like and what their lifestyles are like. And then I make the painting. So if you ever are in Hoboken, come to my studio and you'll just be surrounded by animals. So it's fun.
I love the direction you're going. I mean, and I can, I know your photography. This to me seems just really cleansing. I think we were talking about this a couple weeks ago. There's so much life and just so much, color and joy in all of these pieces. I'm really pleased to have them in the show, and I'm, hoping to bring a lot more in next year at some point.
I hope so too. Yeah, it's been really cathartic, and it's just been really uplifting and brightening for me to work on these vibrant pieces and to work with these animals, because that's how I feel like when I'm painting them, I'm a partner in their life.
Yeah, you can tell. I mean, there's a lot of love and put into these. It really shows. Jada, great to see you. So pleased to have these here, and we will definitely talk. All right. Thanks, Jada.
You're welcome.
Next, I have two pieces by Mira Fink. Mira's a wonderful watercolor artist in Kingston, I believe. And this first piece is called Melons. It's a small piece, 6x8. The second piece is called Misty Hemlocks. This one is watercolor, a little larger, 11x14. Next, I have a photograph by Enif Fearon. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Enif, if you're watching, my apologies if I'm butchering it. This is a photograph of lichen, and it is 8x10. Next, I have a couple pieces by Katie Fisher. Katie's a wonderful artist here in Socrates. These are two little ones. This is a drawing, pen and ink drawing called Medallion. That one is 5x5, and then the second piece that I have is called Offerings, and this one is 8x10. Stacie Flint, are you here, Stacie? Did I see you come in? No? Okay. No. Are you there? Sorry, guys. No. Okay. This is Inside Outside. This is acrylic on canvas by Stacie Flint. We have a number of pieces of Stacie's on Artsy as well. She's been in a handful of shows here at Merch Gallery. Next, we have, here's Stacie. Let me bring Stacie back. She just came in. No. Okay. This is Inside Outside.
I'm here.
Acrylic on canvas by,
I'm
Stacie
here.
Flint. Okay, turn the volume down on your phone, please. Stacie's on
Okay.
Artsy as well.
Is this better?
Great. Yes, perfect. Okay. I'm glad you popped in. You popped in just at the right time. So please talk about this piece for me. Let me bring Stacie back. If you can mute your phone or wherever device you're listening. Okay. No, you just muted yourself. Yes, perfect. Okay. I'm glad you. Are you watching this on your computer or on your phone? But if you can mute your phone or wherever device you're listening. Okay. I just muted you. Okay.
Okay.
It's still going. Is it someone else?
I'm on a laptop, so let me actually.
If you could just close out the window that you're watching the YouTube program on.
Okay. I'm gonna.
Okay.
I just muted you. Okay.
In the meantime, I'm Stacie, if you could. Okay, great. I'm going to move on to Jason Foster. This is a digital photograph. This is really, really gorgeous photograph. Jason is an artist in, I think, in the Hudson Valley up north somewhere. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. It's called Window Light. Okay. Next, we have a couple pieces by Deborah Friedkin. This one is called Dinosaur Afternoon. It's a mixed media collage. Deborah she's always has a lot of fun in her collage pieces. And then the second piece here is called Chakras. This one is a mixed media collage as well. And then we've got Jeffrey Friedkin. Both Deborah and Jeffrey live in Sleepy Hollow. This is called Town Bubble. This is a photograph on metal, and this is Socrates with a rainbow. This was probably about 2 years, and actually this was in the local newspaper. And then Jeffrey's second piece is called New York City from, where is that from? Sleepy Hollow. This is a photograph on metal as well. Okay, Stacie, you back? Perfect.
All right. Is it?
All right, we got it right. Okay, let me bring your piece back up, and you can tell us about it. Perfect. Great.
So sorry.
Okay.
But anyway.
It happens. That's the joys of Zoom.
Well, okay, as everyone has said, thank you. I'm very grateful for being part of the show and for everything that you do for all the artists. The show is beautiful, and I'm really glad to be a part of it. So this is Inside Outside. It's 14 by 11. I like to work small and medium size just because it's so easy to transport and show. I do work large sometimes too, though. And my work is it's color first, and I'm interested in the simple things surrounding me and everyday life scenes. So this is was taken from a vase. It's a family heirloom vase, a blue cobalt with etched glass in it, on my kitchen table. And so there's a window out there too with the trees. And what is interested in here is working with a lot of, more painterliness. I was starting to build up the paint and do more like mark making, not more, but I guess that it's more of a current interest, and I'm painting this way much more frequently now. More built up. I'm using some more like an acrylic medium and just adding more, and about just the marks. I'm interested in scratching and having more of an abstract mix in with the expressive nature. And the color, the theme for this one, Inside Outside, is I was liking to have the trees, which is really in my yard, outside the window, and having the feature be of the organic, the flowers inside, and kind of a dialogue between the inside outside. And that's it.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, there's so much joy in this with the colors just go perfectly. Love it.
Thank you.
Like this direction, keep going in it.
Okay, great.
All right, see you soon, Stacie. Thank you.
Thanks, Robert.
Okay, now you're gonna see a big me until I bring up this next screen and share that with you. All right. So we're moving on to our next group. Okay, wonderful. So this is a piece by Jerry Gallo. There are two pieces actually by Jerry. This first one, this first one is called Summer Series 4622. It's acrylic on board. And then the second piece is called Gray December 1221. This is acrylic on board as well, 12 by 9. Andrea Geller. I've got 2 pieces by Andrea Geller, and I'm really pleased to be joined by Andrea here. Andrea is a wonderful artist in New Jersey. Andrea's had a number of pieces in the show. Andrea, where are you? Here we are.
I'm here. Hi, Robert.
All right, good to see you.
Great to see you. Thanks again for doing these. They're such a highlight on a dismal gray Sunday. And I am going to try to get up to see the exhibition because the pieces look really terrific. So
these, I'm a little biased, but it turned out to be a really great show.
No, I can see there's a lot of energy in a lot of the works. So I had an amazing. I'm sorry.
I said it's all because of you guys, so thank you.
I had an amazing summer. We had this opportunity to go to the Canadian Rockies, and it was with my husband, my brother, his wife, my sister, and so it was a to-do, and it was a trip I didn't really know what I was gonna be getting into, which I actually like a lot because when I plan it, it's very stressful. So here I just hopped on a bus, but I always have my camera ready, and so I'm taking like almost 1,000 photographs. But anyway, this painting is based on a place called Spirit Island. It's located in a really large lake called Malign Lake in Jasper National Park. And like many of the lakes, like I'm just starting painting these. Many of the lakes are glacial waters, and no one can tell you what these colors are about. But the focus of this wasn't necessarily just the water. It was the island, which is, the island is a spiritual place for the Stoney Nakoda First Nation. And I'm just reading off a quote. They believe mountains are physical representations of their ancestors. And the fact that Spirit Island is surrounded on 3 sides by the same mountain range is very rare and makes it particularly significant to the Stoney culture. So we took a ferry ride out to it. No one is allowed on the island. It's sacred, but we got pretty close to it. And it's just palpable when you're surrounded by these stunning, stunning colors. Somebody else earlier brought up the color blue. Well, you can't get enough of it. And this one, so we also had a very spiritual minded guide and bus driver. I just loved hearing her speak because she kind of just got us right there. And the bus driver was he had an uncanny ability to just intuitively know when there's a bear sighting, even if you couldn't see the whole bear. So we had 9 opportunities, and this particular bear, which I title Black Bear Foraging, is a series. It just was a photographic series that I took of him lumbering. He first started on one side of the road, and then he lumbered across to the other side, and he just continued going. But I learned a lot about the black bear versus the grizzly bear and the cinnamon black bear. I mean, it was just, and it was also the babies were out. So it wasn't, so bears are not something that I would typically, wrap my teeth on and try to do a painting. But I realized that it's coming closer and closer. And I just did a local hike with my husband and my daughter, and we were thinking there was a bear. So, I mean, it's like, who's in whose territory these days? So, yeah. Oh, one last thing. I am an oil painter and I do a lot of watercolors, but what I think I fell upon was going back into gouache. Gouache is an opaque watercolor medium that kind of works so much more like oils. And I think it's a good bridge for me. So I really enjoyed it. And I just whipped these off, in a matter of a few hours. And it just happened fast. So
yeah, they're beautiful. I forgot to mention they're both gouache. Yes. Thanks, Andrea. There's a number of Andrea's works on Artsy, including a really fantastic series of her bath works.
Thank you,
Andrea.
Thank you.
See you at Trader Joe's.
Oh, yes.
All right. Next, we have some work by Denise Giardulo. This is called Sewing. The second one is, this is called Dick and Jane Take a Walk. And then there was a third one also by Denise that I don't have up online, but I'll take you over here. This one sold. Here we go. It's called Clouds of War. Both this one and Sewing are encaustic. Okay. Next, we have a work by, two pieces actually, by Christine Graff. Christine is an artist in New York City. This one is called The Hidden Story Behind the Stitches, and it's a mixed media. The second piece is called Homage to the Lost and Loved in Ukraine. This is a mixed media piece as well. This is 8x8. I have a new piece by Robert Greco. Robert is a wonderful abstract artist in New Jersey. I've had a solo show of Robert's probably about 2 years ago, and I have a good number of his work online. If you'd like, have a look. He had a solo show 2 years ago, really, really cool. I have two pieces by Christine Henninger. Christine, are you here? No? Okay. Two pieces by Christine Henninger. These are both digitally modified photographs. This one is called Time for Coffee, and the second piece is called Time for Tea. Or no, this is Morning Coffee. I'm sorry, the other one was called Time for Tea. I have two pieces by Ali Herman. This is a fabulous piece, an encaustic piece of Liza Minnelli. And then Ali's second piece is a diptych, two encaustic pieces that are connected by an assemblage. This is called Muses. And Ali is an artist here in Hudson Valley. I have another photograph by Ruth Hirsch. Ruth is a really wonderful photographer here in Socrates. This one is called Openings. It's an unmanipulated photograph. And then I have two pieces by Joan Hoffman. Joan, are you here?
Yes.
You are. Hold on. Let me find you. Oh, I got you. All right, you're on mute though, Joan. So if you want to unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Right. Yes, good to see you. So Joan has two pieces in the show. This is called, this first one is called Blueberry, and then the second one is called Honeysuckle. And they're both Prismacolor color pencils.
Right.
You're welcome.
Yes. Well, yes, it's lovely to be in the show, as many have said, and it's a beautiful show. And in this series, I work with wild plants in this local area of Socrates. I make sketches, I look up the connection to climate change, and I try to take some aspect of the plant which reflects its dynamic force, and then I enlarge that image to reveal the dramatic energies of nature that, you know, so often are unnoticed or unseen by us. Then begins the work of choosing composition, materials, and color. And for instance, can I do this? Can you see this? This is a black and white version of Blueberry. And I took the composition, but I wanted color. And I started experimenting with color patches, but I was very dissatisfied with the background color. But during COVID, I had taken to visiting online museums around the world. And in one exhibition of Muklak art, the Muklaks are ancient Egyptians, I saw this soft silver that spoke to me. So I went back to the image and I worked on it until it had that soft silver elegance that I wanted. Unfortunately, online, it doesn't really show because the image is a bit yellowed, but anyway.
Yeah, I tried to color correct that. The image is much more whiter than it's appearing.
Yes, right. But anyway, I find that you have to use diligence, you must be open to experimentation, to gather and respond to inspiration, and be persistent. But it's fun, and I love it.
You could tell. There's a lot of fun in it. Thank you so much, Joan. It was really wonderful to meet you. Was it last week? I think it was.
Yes.
Okay, great to see you. Thank you. All right, we are going to move on to the Holts. We have a piece by Barber Holt. Both Barber and David live in New Paltz. This is called Misty Lake, and this is a watercolor piece. Barbara's second piece is called Desert Shadows 3. This is acrylic on canvas. It's 7x5. And this one is an Artsy exclusive. It's just available on Artsy. So these are Barbara's two pieces. David Holt, also in New Paltz. This is called Pond and Fall. It's acrylic on Yupo. And I love the way that people use Yupo. David does a really wonderful job with using the Yupo. And then David's second piece in the show is called Two Trees. This one is acrylic on canvas. Jennifer, are you here? Jennifer Jackowitz? No, okay. Jennifer Jackowitz is an artist here in Socrates. She has two pieces in the show. This is called Sour Note. It's a mixed media, collage, watercolor, markers, and pen on paper. And then her second one, this one is called Misfire. Both of them are 14x11. I know I'm going through quickly on these, so I would encourage folks to just, spend a little time online if you can, looking at them. Next, we have a small piece by Annette Jarrett. Annette is a abstract artist that lives in Port Ewan. This one is called Spirit Dancing 70. It's mixed media, and it's 12x9. I have two pieces by Danny Marie Jones. Danny, are you here?
Hello, I'm here. Hi.
Congratulations. Well, the one sold.
Oh, thank you. I noticed. Thank
yes,
you very much.
Yeah, there was it's a lot of times married couple, or not necessarily married couple, but a couple who live together come in, and it can always be an issue when one likes one piece, but the other doesn't. But they both agreed on yours. Oh,
that's wonderful.
from New York City. So congratulations, Danny.
Thank you very much.
And Danny Marie's from East Chatham, New York.
I am.
So we've got Fluidity, and then the second piece is called Intertwist.
Yes. Thank you.
Go ahead. Take it away.
So both of these ink drawings are part of a larger series of work that I call Emotional Topography. I've been working on the series for over a year now, and I will continue to do so indefinitely. And because of my process and because of where I pull inspiration from, I like to refer to these drawings and paintings as meditations. Like so many artists, I am heavily influenced by the natural world, and I'm really interested in calling attention to interconnectedness and shared energy. My art is definitely inspired by the forms and movements and vibrations of life that we pick up on with our senses, and those that we can't pick up on with our senses, those that we take for granted. And when I'm drawing or painting, or as I do in a new variation of this project, carving, I really just want to be in the present moment and the little repetitions as I form each line that form these larger movements. It is very meditative, and the action sort of brings me into the present and it keeps me there. So for me, there's this, like in a nutshell, there's this fixation on nature with a capital N, and an ongoing existential crisis and a desire for healing that's like expressed through this physically and mentally soothing creative process. I'm really not interested in making anything if it feels like work. I want it to be thoughtless, but emotive and instinctive, and again, healing. I want to feel good. So that's how these came about. These are a part of that project.
I think, it definitely has a meditative quality to it. I could imagine just creating this, just getting lost.
Oh yeah, you get lost, you zone out,
Yeah.
and each one takes on a shape all on its own. Like I don't, sometimes I think about it, like sometimes I'll make one that like looks like a pelvic floor or a flower intentionally, but most of the time I'm not really thinking much at all.
Yeah. And you can get lost visually in it, just looking at it too. It's very meditative as a viewer.
Thank you.
Congratulations again, and I hope to see some more from you. Thank you so much, Danny Marie.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Next, we have two pieces by Patricia Kelly. This first piece is called A Morning in May. It's pastel, 12 by 9. Her second piece is called River Reflections. This one is pastel as well. And this one is 9 by 12 too. Next, I have two pieces by Martha Klein. This one, the first one is called Orange Barn. It's a small little oil piece. And this is 8 by 8. Second one is 8 by 8 as well. This one is called Green Sky. This is, I'm not sorry, it's 14 by 11. This one is oil on panel. Pam Krimsky. I saw Pam here. Are you still here? We're running a little behind, so I'm sorry for everyone, and I apologize, and thank you for waiting. Pam, take it away. Good to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you too. Thank you for having me in the show. It's
Absolutely.
a beautiful show.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just muted you by mistake. I went to mute myself. You have to unmute.
Am I unmuted now?
Yes, you're good. My apologies. Thank you.
Okay. So this painting, I don't know quite why, but it doesn't look as intense as I believe it is. It was a single red gladiolus sitting in the middle space of one of my gardens. And I enjoyed painting from it. One of the things that happened over the course of my painting a lot of landscape this summer is that I started to become very much more in tune with what was going on right in back of the subject. And that's pretty much held through entirely since about this painting. I had Lyme in the spring. So I also had scheduled having worked in a landscape show in Kingston for the fall. So it was a source of concern because after taking antibiotics, you're not really supposed to be outside. This was one of the first paintings I did from outside. I like to paint from nature.
Most of your work is from nature.
Most of my work is from nature, but I paint portraits from photographs because I can't get people to sit for me long enough usually. And I also paint figures from imagination. So I work back and forth, but I do a lot of work from direct observation.
Well, this is a really beautiful piece, and it's good to see that it's the one that got you back.
Thank you. Thanks, Robert. Thanks for having me in the show again.
My pleasure. Thank you. There's Pam has a handful of other pieces too that are online from other shows. Okay, next we have two pieces by Stephanie Lambert-Mitton. This is called First Campers. It's pen on paper. I did that actually in watercolor. And then the second piece is called
Probably want to raise the volume because they have it low.
This is Canoe Ride. Veronica Lawler. Veronica, I saw you come in.
Hi.
Where are you?
Here.
Yep, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Robert.
Always a pleasure to have.
Want me to close the door because the arrow sounds loud?
Oh, someone else's. Okay, here we go. Always a pleasure to have Veronica's work here at the gallery. This is from a series that I'll let Veronica talk about, but it's an exploration of the brick mills or the brick plants here in the area. And she just completed a residency over at Birdcliff, and I was so pleased to be able to stop by and see her in action. So Veronica, please tell us about this first piece, and then the first piece is called Dennings Point 1, and then the second is Dennings Point 2. So yeah, take it away.
Okay, hi, thanks, Robert. Yeah, as Robert said, I was lucky enough to have a really wonderful artist residency at Woodstock Birdcliff this summer, and these two pieces are from part of a new series I started there about the brick industry. There was a huge industry in the Hudson Valley along the river at one time. So part of this project involves going on location and documenting the sites of old brick factories. And these two mixed media pieces in the show come from drawings I made at the old Dennings Point Brickworks in Beacon. So these are specifically talking about how nature grows over and retakes these old industrial spaces. And I think there's something very poetic about a structure that was at one time devoted to the transformation of natural materials by human into something to be used for our purposes, and is now abandoned and is in the process of being transformed back to its natural state by the environment. So I like to work based on drawings I make on location, because when you're on site, you do feel the energy of things that happened in a place in the past that are now, unseen, and also things that are beginning to happen that are going to come to fruition in the future. These places are always in this state of transformation, and I like to respond to that with my work. So, take the drawings, I can bring them into my studio and then work with the forms of the drawings and take advantage of the forms in between form as this kind of container of all this energy, both of what's happened in the past and what's happening toward the future. So they're kind of in flux. So these are mixed media pieces, that's painting, drawing, cut paper, fabric, stamping, leaf transfer, and I'm also working with painting as well as the drawing. And it was a wonderful experience to have a month in Woodstock, just sort of working on this project. And it's the energy of that I've taken back to my home studio with me, and excited to continue. So
I'm excited to see the rest of them. And I also wanted to mention that Veronica has a series that she did about the something similar with the Kosciuszko Bridge, destruction of the Kosciuszko Bridge, which you can see on Artsy. Thank you, Veronica.
Thank you, Robert, and congrats on the exhibit. I mean, so much variety of art, and it all came together beautifully in the gallery. You did a really beautiful job hanging that exhibit.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next I'm going to bring up Monica Lacona. Monica, I know you're just just a few minutes behind, but please welcome and tell us about.
Hi, Robert. Good
how
to
are
see
you?
Can you see me?
I can, yes.
Okay.
So
All right.
I got to bring up your piece. Hold on.
Okay. All right. I'll wait till you bring it up.
So Monica's got two pieces in this show. So yeah, please, Monica, tell us about both of these. And I just want to mention I met Monica through the Oyster Point in Red Bank that was having an exhibit. So I'll let you talk about these. Thank you.
Okay, great. Well, the piece that we're looking at right now is called Sea Love. And first of all, thank you for including me in the show. This is the first time I'm showing at your gallery, and I'm very humbled and honored to be here. I had a residency in Pine Plains, New York earlier this month at Shaw North, and I was introduced to your gallery. And now after this submission, you've accepted two of my pieces, so I'm very honored and thank you. This piece is called Sea Love, and most of the pieces that I've been doing lately, including these two, are started during the lockdown. I was inspired by the beautiful roses that were growing outside my gardens in California at my studio here. I also have a studio in Mattawa, New Jersey. But during California's, during the lockdown in there, I was also looking after my father, who was 98, and he went on to be 100 years old. He passed, but it was a very tenuous time because I couldn't see him. And I found that painting the roses in a repetitive pattern with a kind of very bold strokes of mark making gave me a release of tension. And these paintings kind of became like a meditation for me. And so I painted this particular piece here a little bit later than I did the earlier one, which is called Violet Rose. But this was really inspired, or, you know, the impetus for this was when the Ukrainians had to pass over the border into Poland during the Russian invasion. My family is from Poland, and especially from the town of Rzeszów, which was the first city that everyone went through when they came from Ukraine into Poland. And the roses became for me almost a metaphor for the human condition, and represented people and the condition that goes on in the world, whether it's from war-torn areas or from people being weather refugees. This piece, Violet Rose, became a metaphor for us staying in place, being separated from each other, all in a line, the way we had to make lines and stand apart from each other during lockdown. And the bands of color beneath it, the terracotta colors, were grounding for me, because the earth is terracotta color, and the tiles outside my studio became a place where I felt grounded, where I could go to my studio and find solace, and also find a place where my release of tension could appear on the surface of the canvas. I usually don't paint flowers necessarily, but it was during this time that I flourished doing flowers, and I've since had several shows on the East Coast using my flowers as a metaphor for the human condition. Violet is also my middle name, and I'm named after the namesake of my grandmother from Poland. It's also the highest chakra color of your crown chakra, where intuition is realized when you're meditating. And my intention of my work is to bring the viewer to my personal space of observation, and trying to use the beauty of nature as a metaphor for the human condition, where suffering, you know, is relentless, but yet there's hope. And I placed a stamp in this particular painting here from Poland as sort of a directional point for the people to follow as they're migrating out of their war-torn regions, and where the land and the sea meet, the rivers, the water, the land all connect between the reeds and the roses and the land, and the colors represent the earth being blue and green. So thank you for having these pieces.
Oh, absolutely, Monica. They're really gorgeous. Where can people see more of the series? They'll look you up on Instagram, or?
I have it on my Instagram, which is Monica Loncola, and then my website, which is monicaloncola.com. And I'm also on the iSpot, which is a site for professional illustrators, which I do an awful lot of illustration as well, more realistically. And I was just published in a magazine called the Spotlight Magazine out of Lyon, France, with the Circle Foundation. They just posted one of my pieces in their magazine about basically the symbolism of the people migrating from Ukraine in the form of muscle bundles that got upended in tidal currents.
Wow. Again, I'm really pleased to have these. When I first saw them at with Ellen at the RC Point, I just love them. So thank you so much, Monica. I really appreciate you joining us.
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm very honored to be in this group of very professional and very beautiful artists. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Next, we have a piece by Richard Levy. Richard is a artist here in Malden by the Hudson. Two pieces by Yvette Lewis. This first piece is called Silent Drift. This piece it's a monotype, and it's 10 by 8. The second piece by Yvette is called Ripening. This is a monotype as well. That's 10 by 8. And Yvette lives right here in Socrates. Have two pieces by Linda Linton. This first piece is called Salem Barn 1. It's a little piece. It's 6 by 4, and it's an oil. The second piece is called Country Number 3. This is oil as well. And Linda lives right here, right over in Woodstock for now. Next, we have two really wonderful pieces by Molly Mackaman. Molly Mackaman. Molly is an artist over in Malden as well. This is called Young Man in Purple Shirt. It's acrylic on birch board, and it's 12 by 12. And then the second piece is called Reagan as a Child. This is a small one, 6x6. It's gouache and acrylic on panel, and it's finished with an acrylic leveling gel and a cold wax. Have two pieces by Marjorie Magid. This first piece is called Purple Vase. It's acrylic on canvas, 14 by 11. The second piece here is called Ladybird. Marjorie has some real fun with birds. This is 14 by 11 as well. I have one piece actually by Dorothea Marcus. This is called Red. It's a monotype. Yes, 5 by 7, framed to 12 by 12. We have two pieces by Deborah Moss Maris. Deborah, are you here? I thought I saw you come in earlier. Maybe not.
Yes, I am.
You are. Great. Wonderful. I would hear you. Great. Let me bring you up. And I would love to hear what you have to say about these two pieces. Hold on one sec.
Well,
I see it. Okay. All right. Wonderful.
Can you hear me?
I can. Yes. So this is Moss Girls, right?
This is Moss Girls.
Okay.
These are California condors. And I have two sisters. And so this is we three Moss Girls within this landscape that has to do with memory. The California condor is a very important bird in what they do. They're a keystone species bird, and they're being, of course, with the fires and everything out in the West, their area of living is being decimated. So I'm interested in particular animals and plants that have a role. The condor there would never be three of them together. They're very solitary. So in some ways it is also, personal about my own relationships with family members and loved ones. So all of these things are often layered in my work. And there's a lot of drawing on this. There's various waxes and oil paint and gilding. And I worked as a decorative painter for many years. So some of those materials find their way into my work. I can't hear you, Robert. And this is Red. This is a very different piece.
So sorry about that. I had a problem with my mute. So this is the second piece. Yes, this is Red.
Yes. And as I'm very interested in nature, gardening. These are things that I grew myself. And as tiny little seeds, as many of the artists that you're showcasing today are interested in nature and also have gardens and grow things and nurture them and see them begin and develop and end. And that is also kind of a theme that the passage of time, all of those, the ephemeral sense of being here. So these are, they're pretty serious. Everything else to me looked a little more upbeat. And I think there's
a lot of joy in this. The other one, yes. But this one, there's definitely a lot of joy in this. Really beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everything shouldn't all be pleasant.
Right. I know.
Thank you so much, Deborah. It was really nice to meet you.
Thank you, Robert.
Thanks for joining us. Next, I have two pieces by Kate Masters. Kate is an artist here in Socrates. This one's an oil on canvas. It's called Fresh Pond on a Soft Day, #1. And it is 8 by 10. The second piece is called Middle Ground Flats, Athens, New York. This one's oil on canvas as well. And this one is 11 by 14 also. Have one piece by Ellen Menzies in the show. Ellen's is a wonderful artist here in Socrates. This is called Fox in the Morning Mist. It is watercolor and it's 9 by 5.5. Have two pieces by Wilma Miller. This one's a little different for Wilma. This is called Irises. I know Wilma, usually does a lot of abstract, and there's, definitely some abstract qualities to this. This one is a little more typical of how I know Wilma's work. This is a mixed media collage called In the Shadows. Have one piece by Paul Mendel. Paul is a wonderful artist that lives in New Jersey, and I think he's splitting his time up here as well now. This is oil on canvas. This one is called Shift Left, and it is 11 by 14. Next, I think we have a special guest with us. Are you here? Francesca, are you here?
Hi, I'm here.
Okay, great. Let's bring you up.
Hi, so hello everybody. Hello, Robert. Thank you for having me here today and for having my piece in the show. So this piece is called Restless. It's acrylic on canvas. And what I was exploring here was the concept of intimacy and female body. It's really supposed to be a reflection on a moment of a woman, like an almost frozen in time moment. And the idea behind was to express like a big feeling, small feeling, contrasting feeling with the use of contrasting color. But all these feeling, they create like a movement. So the strokes are continuous, are like round, but are also very fast. And it is like, through this agitation of all this feeling that this woman is, yes, restless, but find her balance. And the inspiration behind it come from personal feeling. During the pandemic, we all felt very isolated and at time very numb and maybe static, like a bad way to be static. But then at some point, even if we were through like, still physical isolation, all these feelings they start to pour inside of people, and there were contrasting feeling, ideas and dreams, but everything was stirred up, and all this movement was actually good. Like just this agitation allowed many people to find their happy place, their balance. So really, this is like a representation of how like all different emotion and all this movement of the emotion can actually allow people to find their inner self.
The movement in this is really wonderful. It's nice, really balanced with the color too. Really, really beautiful piece. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I hope to see more from you soon.
Definitely. Thank you.
Next, we have a piece by Ann Morris. This is called Floating Blues. It's a lino cut. I'm really pleased to see Ann has been exploring working on paper lately. And then we have a piece here by Gray Ivor Morris. This is a small little sculpture called Ophelia, with some, I know Gray from his mosaics, so this is definitely a Gray Morris piece. I have a piece by Susan Murphy. This is called Heartland. It is a untouched photograph, actually. Almost looks like a painting from an airplane. This is from an airplane. We have two pieces by Raquel Muslin. This is called Yagumo number 5, 2022. It's a small little sculpture. And then we have Yagumo number 4, which is a ceramic piece as well. Okay, now just to startle you, wow. Okay, let's move on to the next page. And I need to share that with you, didn't I? Okay, really pleased to have 2 pieces by Ingrid Nichter. This is called Your Turn Now. And then the second piece is called Have You Seen My Sleep? Both of them are from this year. They're both 12 by 9. Have 2 pieces by Deanna Niebergall. This first piece is, both of them actually are ink on Yupo. Again, Yupo pops up. This is called Untitled PG010. And then the second, also ink on Yupo. This is Untitled BGP10. Again, it has a great balance of color. Really pleased to have 2 pieces by Nancy O'Hara. Nancy's a wonderful, mostly abstract artist. She's an abstract artist living here in Hudson Valley. This is called Hidden Meaning number 2. This is a monotype. And then the second one's a monotype as well. This one is called Twisted. And both of them are 8 by 10. Really pleased to have 2 pieces by Jacqueline Oster in the show. Jacqueline's a really wonderful watercolor artist. This one is called Part of the Flock. It's 9 by 12. And then the second one is called Black with 3 Sugars. This one's a watercolor also. This one's 12 by 9. Have a multi-canvas piece by Donna Parisi. These are a number of little small canvases that are all attached to a larger canvas to create a pretty stunning abstract work.
Oh, come on.
I have 2 pieces by Geraldine Popko. This one sold during the opening. This is called Lemons, and Lemons is oil on panel. It's a small piece, 5 by 7.
My nose is running.
Second one also is, this is called Abandoned. This is 5 by 7 as well. And this is oil on panel. Have a really wonderful piece by Jeffrey Porter, 2 pieces, or Porterfield. Jeffrey is a new artist to the gallery. This one is called Abandoned. Oh, no, I'm sorry, this is Untitled. And then the second is an untitled one as well. This is Untitled 2. Both of them are oil on canvas and they're both 9 by 12. Have a couple pieces by Terry Priestner. This is Pretty Ladies. This is oil on linen. This is 12 by 12. And then the second piece by Terry is Sunlight in the Forest. This is oil on linen as well. And this one is 8 by 10. Elaine Ralston. Yeah. Caught you. You're on mute. Congratulations, Elaine. This piece sold. It's called It's a Wrap. And then Elaine's second piece in the show is Before the Pie. So welcome, Elaine. Tell us about these guys.
Hello, it's nice to be here with everybody. This piece I wanted to, I was working on like glass, and I wanted to get that illusion of, you know, seeing through with bright colors, and it's a work in pastel, and it was a lot of glass in the thing. And colors on colors. And this piece, It's a Wrap, is a, started in the grocery store with pears that were wrapped in like a foil paper, which you don't usually see them wrapped in paper. And so when I saw that, it inspired me to do this piece. It's a Wrap. And that's also a pastel.
Yeah, there's quite a few. There's a lot of Elaine's work up on Artsy. She's a really wonderful pastel artist here in Olive, right? Elaine, you live in Olive?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and I used in this particular piece, I had some iridescent pastels, which I was working with too, to give you that a little shine to them.
Well, congratulations again. Always a pleasure to have you in the show, and please give my best to Ruby.
Okay, thank you.
Treats too. Yeah, you got it. I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, I have 2 pieces in the show by Erica Resnick. Erica is a wonderful artist living in New Jersey. These are both mixed media pieces, and from what Erica told me, these are the first that she has done in quite some time. So I'm really, really pleased to have these pieces by Erica. She's had a couple pieces in some of the previous shows as well. Have a wonderful digital work by Tad Richards. This is called Still Life with M&Ms. It's a digital painting. Really pleased to have a handmade paper piece called Lightfall by Marilyn Rowley, which this is a little different than what I know Marilyn's work for as well. two pieces from, or one piece, I'm sorry, from Lynn Sable. This is called Vasa Flowers. It is a monoprint, and it is 10 by 8 and has some really wonderful texture on it. Emily, are you here? I don't think so. Okay, Emily Sabri, there are two pieces by Emily. This is mixed media on panel. This is called Rainbow Roll. And then the second piece is also mixed media on panel as well. This one is called Maki Combo. And you can't really tell, but there is a piece of plexiglass that is over each of the works with a little devil. Jesse, got two pieces by Jesse Sanchez. This is very different for Jesse, this one. I saw you here, Jesse. You're on mute. I'm gonna bring you up. Welcome. You're on mute though, Jesse. You got to unmute yourself.
Okay, yeah, I'm here.
Great. Fantastic.
Yeah, thanks, Robert.
Tell us about this digital one.
Yeah, well, I'm trained as a graphic designer. My background's in book cover jackets, so I'm familiar with digital illustration and also, you know, high fashion imagery. So when I went to the beach just recently during the summer, it just struck me that, you know, how graphic bathing suits can be. And, you know, I combined it with some of my abstract work, which is done photographically. I combined, you know, images of my graphic, you know, my graphic design and my fine art. So the paint strokes you see here are photographed from a piece. And I don't know, I look into abstract work sometimes and I see things emerging, and combined with just the experience of, you know, being a young man at the beach, I decided, let me try to express it. I normally don't do that. I normally don't like objectifying, you know, anyone.
Yeah.
But you know, the idea of sunglasses and bathing suits just created kind of a graphic image for me in my mind.
Yeah.
And I repeated it throughout the composition. And I like the idea that maybe you don't see what it is right away. And it wasn't until maybe I explained it till people see what it is. So
what about this? This is one that, I mean, this is sort of typical of what I know your work.
Absolutely. And I think if you look at the two, you can see some of the similarities in the forms.
Yeah.
But definitely this is more along the lines of the way I work as an abstract artist and painter.
Yeah.
I like the color sensibilities. I use bright colors. This particular one, I used collage and paint. So I was pulling and ripping and tearing and monoprinting, and I got this series that I thought was kind of alive and satisfying for me. And that's it had to do with something I was going through at the time. It's called All That I Can't Have.
Yeah.
And it just, you know, the two things have something in similar. There's the paint as desire, and that's kind of how I see painting.
Well, we've heard this from a number of people in the show today, and you know, I hear it all the time, and how transformative art can be, and how therapeutic it is.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Robert.
And Jesse, I'm always pleased to have your work here. There's some more work of Jesse's, really beautiful work on some of the other shows as well.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jesse. We'll see you soon. Okay, the next artist that we have is Andrea Scheffel. This is a really wonderful little piece of Partition Street, which is just right around the corner. It's acrylic on paper, and it is 5 by 7. And then Andrea's second piece is called Tulips. This is on acrylic on paper as well, and this one is 5 by 7. Just a little forewarning. Here comes my big face. Okay. Linda Schultz. We have, I got to bring this up so you can see it. We have two pieces by Linda Schultz. This is called Marsh 2. This is oil on linen. It's 5 by 7. And then we've also got Marsh 3 here. This is from a series that Linda has been doing of, obviously, of marshes. Next, I got two photographs by Stephen Schatz. Stephen, I was really surprised to, well, maybe not surprised. I was pleased to get these exhibits. I've known Stephen for a couple years now. His wife is an artist, and I was really pleased when, he came in one day and started showing me some of the photographs he's been taking. Most of them are all close-ups of different floral pieces and petals. So this one is called Eruption, and then the second piece is called Fade Out. They're both photographs. Have a piece by Peter Sheehan. This is called Cave of the White Snake. It's acrylic, ink, pastel on watercolor paper. Have a few small little pieces by Rita Sherry. She does some quirky little art. Love Rita's work. This is called Lounging Lizard. Lounging Leopard. This is a small sculpture. And then her second piece is a small sculpture as well. This is called Friends. It's a ceramic piece. Have two pieces by Amy Silvercleat. This first piece is called Leaf 10 Times. It's a lithograph. And then the second piece we have by Amy is called Heat. This is a lithograph as well. Have a piece by Janet Siskine. Janet is a wonderful artist here in the Hudson Valley. It's been a number of shows. This one is a mixed media piece called Cortez. Have two pieces by Barbara Spizzeri. This one is called Fish with Lotus. It's an oil ink block print, 11 by 14. And then the second one is called Snow at Prospect. This one is watercolor. Judy, are you here? Did I see you come in? Judy Stanger? No. Again, apologies that I'm running so over. So
I'm here.
You are here. I thought I saw you come in. Okay. Oh, there you are. I see you. Great.
How you doing, Robert?
Good to see your face. Hold on.
Good to see you. Great.
Thank you. So we have two pieces by Judy. This is Socrates Lighthouse, a very familiar scene, and then the other one is called Summer Reservoir. So yeah, tell us about these, Judy.
Oh, thanks so much. And thanks so much for including me in the show. It's really beautiful, Robert.
Thank you.
Thank you. The first one, Socrates Lighthouse, I had this show in mind when I did it, in that I made it a real close-up and personal piece so that I could keep it small and not have much happening in the background. I work exclusively in pastel and on plein air, on site. So I focused on, in this case, the lighting, the structure, the time of day, and color. And the Summer Reservoir piece, in both cases, I have a backpack filled with all of my pastels and masonite board with sanded paper, and that's how I sometimes get impromptu pieces done. So that was on a bike ride at the reservoir. And I was struck by, and it was a hot summer day, I was struck by the blues and caught it, sort of almost in action.
You're amazing in this, by the way.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. So again, focusing on light and color and the richness of the day. So thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you. There's a number of really wonderful pastel works by Judy from some previous shows on Artsy as well. So please have a look at some more of Judy's work. Judy, always a pleasure. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you. Bye, Robert.
All right, forewarning again. Here's my big face. And now we move on to Margaret Still. Let me share this with you so you can see what I'm seeing. Margaret Still is a really wonderful artist here in Socrates. This one is called Gas Station Ruins. It's oil on paper. We have a piece by Joanne Helfert Sullum. This is called Dusk. It's acrylic on canvas, 9 by 12. And Joanne is a artist here in Socrates. This one actually just sold as we were doing this presentation. This is by Cindy Sumerano. It is called Solitude. It's pastel and tempera on paper, and it's 10 by 8. Congratulations, Cindy, if you're watching. Francine Tint, I love this piece. This is Francine Tint. Francine is a artist that lives in New York, and she was really pleased to meet her the other day. She's been exhibiting all over, and so pleased that to have one of Francine's pieces here. I'm hoping to have more in the future. So thank you, Francine. Have a piece by Carl Voltling. This is called Storm. It's an older piece. It's 12 by 9 and it's oil on pressed board. Julia, I saw you here, and it's been a pleasure to meet you last couple weeks. So let me bring you in.
Thank you, Robert.
Oh, wonderful. Well, welcome to Socrates, and welcome to the presentation. Julie has 2 pieces in the show, so why don't you tell us about them, Julia?
Well, one piece is oil, which I'm quite new to doing. When I discovered wet and wet painting, I knew it was for me, because I also make acrylic grid painting, which I pour. And what I am happy with is that both ways of painting have a sense of urgency. I make them instinctively and rapidly. There's a build up over a few days, and on the day in question, they come together very fast. The other piece is called Joint, and I made this piece thinking about fall coming up. But I also, and how the seasons change from summer to fall. And the white vertical piece is like an hourglass representing the switch in seasons. So from a blue sky, the blue is now water. Falling from a gray sky, we hope to get more water. The grass turns greener. The sunsets are more vivid as the trees lose their leaves, and we can see more of the horizon. And the sun over there on the right just is the same every day, all year round. The other piece is it's called Simple Games. I don't always start with just a clean canvas. So I'd actually made a test piece with different shades of almost identical pieces of brown, which I brushed on to a background of sort of acrylic tinted acrylic background. And I didn't want to put it aside. So when I found it, and I took some kids kind of, I collect dumb stuff, and like every artist seems to, and having removed the little motifs that kids stick onto pieces of paper, I use the background as a stencil. And I did this flat because it's mainly poured, but when I stretched it and when I lifted it up and put it on the wall, I realized there was a clear kind of bright, like an opening at the bottom in the middle, in that red piece. And it seems kind of hopeful, and I knew the painting was finished then. So it's very much improvised. But this is what I've been doing since I graduated really in 2020.
It's beautifully executed. And thank you again for the explanation of joint, because I didn't really see that, but when you explained it, it became perfectly clear.
Thank you.
Again, Julia, welcome to Socrates.
It's good to be here.
Joining us, and we'll see you soon.
You bet.
Okay, next we have two pieces by Claudia Warwick. Claudia is an artist in Woodstock who uses paper, makes handmade paper and a few other things. I'm sorry. This is called Flora Reveal 3, and it is a eco print, which I guess is done on paper. I mean, I know how eco prints are done on fabric. I'm assuming that's the same method. This is a handmade sculpture that I'm going to bring you over to show you, because the photograph really doesn't do it justice. But it's handmade paper, all sort of put together. And Claudia provided me with a little video of her process. So she puts the pulp down onto stones, presses onto it, and then once it's dry, she peels it up and then creates a sculptural piece that you see. Next, we have two photographs by J.D. Weiss. J.D. Weiss is a wonderful photographer in Woodstock who still uses traditional 2¼ film. This is called Nature's Lantern. And then the second one is called Sliced Pears. Both of them are 12 by 12. I have two pieces by Olivia Wilbur. Olivia is an artist living in Jersey City. And this first one is called The City. It's acrylic and mixed media on wood panel. The second is called Paris 3. This is acrylic and mixed media, including a map on wood panel as well. Olivia lives in Jersey City. I don't know if I said that. Jay Youngdahl. Jay, you're here, right?
I am.
Welcome back. How are you? How you been?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I just
I hope you're doing okay with everything that's been happening the last couple of days.
Yeah, I've been in Florida during Ian, so it's been quite interesting. So, but anyway, we're fine. We're fine.
Good.
So
Good. I'm glad to see you here.
Yeah. So first, let me say there's some high quality work in this exhibition, man. Good work. I'm really impressed with some of this.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah. So I'm mainly a photographer, but I've worked with Robert. We did an exhibition. So I do exhibitions. I've got a couple coming up, kind of conceptual exhibitions, but I kind of wander around with my camera. And because of work, I get to go to a lot of different places. So I like looking into forests. And in a previous show, I had one that I did up at High Falls in the Gunks. And this is out in southern Colorado, south of Crested Butte. And I'm a big fan of aspens, partially because the biggest living structure in the world is an aspen grove in southern Colorado, I learned. So I'm kind of interested with them. But, so that's a small piece. So, but I guess you'd call this interrogating beauty now. And then I drive around. I'm a lawyer for workers, and so I drive around to a lot of places in South Central United States where I grew up. This is in a park in southeastern Oklahoma that is mainly used by Hispanic folks who came to the United States to work in the chicken plants, and they were just having a great time at this place. And I got there early to get the light, and this is where they're getting ready to have their shaved ice. So I used to have problems with this because I didn't like there's the dark line in the front, which is because I took it in the middle of the day, but I've decided there's an authenticity to that. So I've been kind of exploring those things recently. So yeah, and this is it's an area called the Arbuckle Mountains. If anybody goes down there, it's a very interesting place. It's great waterfalls. So and I like color, like one of the other folks on this said, and I like color in the country or in rural areas sometimes, so I take a lot of that. So, and thanks a lot, Robert, for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I did a show with Jay and Leslie Bodsey last year over the summer where they both explored the color gold. So some really gorgeous photographs from Jay's playing with the color gold. You can see those on Artsy as well. Thank you so much, Jay. Good to see you.
Great to see you.
Everything's okay. All right, and we're going to close out the show with Blake Zucker. Blake, see you here. I did. You still here with us? Let's see. Is that you? I see you, Blake. Okay. I think that's you. You have to unmute yourself, though. There you go. All right. How are you?
Now you can hear me.
I can. Good to meet you, Blake.
It's great to meet you too. So I'm gonna go on with I'm holding one of my pieces that's on the picture.
Excellent.
I'm gonna jump right in with this is my gas reduction camera fire, all kinds of my work. And
oh, really nice.
It's built by my very close mentor and me. And I built this with my mentor, and it fires up to 2,500 degrees. It's fired by natural gas.
Wow. Blake, this is a little piece. Do you usually do small pieces like this, or do you do larger ones as well?
I do both.
You do both. Okay. Great. Can we see what's over in your kiln there?
Yes.
Excellent. Oh, very nice. Oh, I'd love to see more of your work.
Thank you.
How much do you put in a kiln at once?
I put like 500 pieces in.
Ooh, wow. That's a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
You must be a busybody.
I am.
Good. All right, we're gonna have to bring you back.
Busy like 24 hours a day.
Excellent. I like, it's some of the best artists say you need to do it, every day. So I think you're on the way there.
Thank you.
Really pleased to have this. Blake, really nice to meet you. I'm
sorry to interrupt, but I have work traveling in an eco-friendly exhibition in Italy.
Oh, wow. Excellent. Congratulations. That's fantastic.
Thank you. Follow me on Innovative Earth to Fire Studios on Instagram.
Okay. And where you live, Blake?
I live in Pleasant Ridge, Michigan.
Oh, you're in Michigan. Oh, okay, great. Oh, I thought you were in Kingston. Oh, wonderful. Oh, fantastic. Well, welcome to the Hudson Valley.
Thank you. I love to come and visit.
Oh, I would love to have you come visit. It would be great to show you around.
I would love to go upstate New York. I've been to New York City lots of time.
Okay.
I also lecture at NYU.
Wonderful. Next time
for their art therapy program.
Great. Next time I'm only an hour, 90 minutes from New York City. So next time you come to NYU, we'll have you come up.
Thank you.
All right. Great. Thank you so much, Blake. I'm really glad you were here to join us.
Me too. Thank you so much.
Have this in the show.
Don't forget to follow me on Innovative Earth to Fire Studios on Instagram.
You got it. Will do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Blake. All right.
Thank you.
Well, that was a good way to close the show. So that is our show. A lot of work. So I would recommend that you spend a little time on Artsy and read the stories about each of the work, because it's all of the pieces do have a story. All of the artists do have stories to tell, and sometimes it's not so apparent in the work, but once you hear about it, it can become pretty clear. So I wanted to again thank everybody for joining us. Thank you for that we've gone about half hour over. So thank you for everyone's patience who were here to discuss their work, and also that we're watching on YouTube. Have a look again at artsy.net. Look for Emerge Gallery NY. There you can find this show, some online exclusives, and shows from the last 2.5 years. that are oral archived. We have the next show that's going to be in the gallery is Best in Show that opens in mid-November. It's one piece of artwork selected from artists that they consider to be their best created in 2022. And then I also have Something Wicked This Way Comes, which opens on Saturday on Artsy. It's been delayed 1 week. Apologies for that due to some unforeseen circumstances. But we're bringing it up next week and we're extending it by a week. And it's a group show of all art that celebrates the morbid and macabre, beautifully macabre. And then we'll see you again online for that. That's coming up as well. And if you like watching me talk like this and discuss work with artists, you can check out the YouTube channel, and we've got all of these discussions archived as well. So thank you everyone for joining us.
Robert.
It's just about time for dinner, so have a great dinner and good close to your weekend, and have a great week, everybody. And we'll see you all soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks again.